Hello and welcome to Code Football. This video is about the 4-1-4-1 tactics. We explain the player roles and responsibilities. The goalkeeper. As the team lines up with a flat back four and a specialized holding player before them, they should concede relatively few clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. As such, the goalkeeper needs to ensure that they remain focused and keep their concentration for the shots on goal that arise. With so many players sitting in front of the area, the opposition should in theory struggle to get shots off from close range. This means that the keeper should instead keep an eye out for long shots. The goalkeeper may have to be quick off their line to cover the defenders if too much space is left in behind them when they push up. As always, the goalkeeper needs to make sure they communicate clearly with their defenders and let them know if any danger comes their way. Central defenders. The center backs in a 4-1-4-1 also largely play in the same way as they would in any other type of flat back four. The challenge therefore is to make sure that they clearly communicate with the holding player in front of them, not get in each other's way and not double mark the same player. While the center backs need to remain alert to any danger and of course tackle anyone who does get through, their main job will therefore be blocking long shots and clearing any crosses that come into the box. The center backs should focus on directing their fullbacks and making sure that the holding midfielder doesn't drop too deep. Consequently, they need to have good leadership and communication skills. Although they shouldn't actually have all that much defending to deal with due to the nature of the lineup, the more open, expansive, and attacking the team is, the more challenges they will have to commit. In addition to this, there will be more emphasis on the center backs to be good on the ball if the manager expects the holding midfielder to drop back from time to time and form a back three. In this case, the defenders would also have to be quite quick and strong and be ready to cover the space in behind the fullbacks who have pushed up. Left and right fullback. While the primary aim of the fullbacks in the 4-1-4-1 formation is to defend, they may have greater attacking responsibilities depending on their manager's instructions and if the team regularly changes to a 3-4-3 setup. In essence, however, their role is to defend the flank, keep the opposition winger in check and prevent them either getting into the box themselves or putting a dangerous cross in behind the center backs. While the fullbacks are expected to win their personal battle with the player they're up against, they also need to closely coordinate with the center backs and holding midfielder beside them as well as the wingers in front of them. This demands good communication and teamwork skills as well as great positioning and tactical understanding. When in possession, the two fullbacks should push wide and create passing angles not only for the center backs but the deep-lying midfielder as well. As such, they should be comfortable on the ball and be able to calmly keep possession. Depending on their instructions, they may also have license to push further forward and support their wingers in attack. This could then see them overlapping and putting crosses into the box for the striker and attacking midfielders to get on the end of. Although the 4-1-4-1 can be very defensively solid, the fullbacks may have to sit back and defend more if the manager instructs the four midfielders to push forward and attack at will. In this case, the fullback's role would be much more defensive in nature and they may have less help from the wingers in front of them. In this scenario, the fullbacks would have to be very good at tackling and know exactly when to commit to a challenge and when to stand off and wait for support to arrive from the holding midfielder. Holding midfielder. With the 4-1-4-1, a lot of the formation's flexibility, fluidity, and defensive solidity comes from the holding midfielder. It is their job to sit in between the defense and midfield and snuff out any of the opposition's attacks. This means they have to have a very good sense of positioning and be quick and strong in the tackle. They should also be able to sniff out danger and drop into any gaps that open up when the team are attacking. As well as this, they should also be able to read the game very well and make a lot of interceptions. They should screen the defense and block off any passing angles in behind them and be very mobile and be able to cover a lot of ground. Their role isn't only defensive, however, as they also need to be very comfortable on the ball and have a wide range of passing. Usually it will be this holding midfielder who picks the ball up off of the center backs and sprays it forward to either the midfielders or fullbacks. As they operate in a congested part of the park, They should also have very good footwork and be able to keep possession and remain calm in tight spaces when under pressure. It is this player's disciplined nature and fine defensive work that allows the rest of the midfielders to push forward and attack, safe in the knowledge that the defense is adequately protected. They dictate the pace of play and also decide whether or not they drop back between the center backs and turn the formation into a 3-4-3. They also need great communication skills, as they need to know when to call the midfielders in front of them back and when to encourage them to push forwards. Central midfielders. While the flat back four and holding midfielder positions are a given in a 4-1-4-1, it is in central midfield that a manager can really implement their tactics and decide how they want to set up. As such, they may select more disciplined, hard-working and defensive players if they want to shut up shop and defend a lead. Alternatively, they may instead choose more attack-minded players if they want to overwhelm the opposition in attack. Regardless of what type of players the manager selects, the two central midfielders need to be cool, calm and collected in possession, have good ball control and be able to pick a pass. As the center of the pitch will undoubtedly be quite congested, they need to work well in tight spaces and have some fancy footwork to get out of trouble when necessary. They should be able to work well as both a central midfield partnership and as part of a trio with the holding midfielder in behind them. The relationship between the three players in the center of the park goes a long way to determining whether or not the team wins or loses, and so they need to understand each other's roles perfectly. Together they should be able to dominate possession and keep the ball between them. Although the deep-lying midfielder largely absolves them of their defensive duties, they should work hard, support the defense behind them and cover a lot of ground. While the two central midfielders certainly have to help out in defense, it is absolutely crucial that they not remain too deep and leave the lone striker isolated. As such, they need to be able to hare up and down the pitch and support the striker as much as possible. Ideally one, if not both of them, should play close to the striker and feed them balls in behind the defense. They should also look to run beyond the striker and get a shot off at goal when they have the chance, or try and get on the end of any crosses into the box. By having two creative players in the team, the formation takes on a very fluid look as they drift into space and take up unorthodox positions which are hard to defend against. This also enables them to overwhelm and outnumber opponents on one flank before later on appearing on the other. These players are expected to get in amongst the goals and also contribute assists and create goal-scoring opportunities. They should immediately hare back, however, if the team loses possession, and if necessary commit a foul to prevent the opposition from counter-attacking. Wide midfielders or wingers. The wide positions are another area where the manager can decide if they want to set their team up to attack or defend. If they want the team to play more expansive or open soccer, for instance, then they may opt for wingers over wide midfielders. In any case, both types of player are expected to help out defensively and protect the fullback behind them. This means that they should track back when the team is defending and put tackles and blocks in when the occasion calls for it. Consequently, they have to be disciplined and hard-working and have good pace and stamina to get up and down the pitch in time. While the wide players certainly have their defensive duties, they're also required to support the lone striker in attack. This means getting high enough up the pitch to either put in an accurate cross or exchange passes with the striker and get a shot off themselves. These more attack-minded players should have great technique and fancy footwork so that they can not only dribble around players but pass, cross and shoot accurately. As the formation only has a lone striker up front, the wide players need to contribute as many assists and goals as possible. As aforementioned, the 4-1-4-1 formation can easily transform into either a 3-4-3 or 4-3-3, and this type of setup gives the wide players ever more license to push forward and attack. This then relieves them to a large extent of their defensive duties and encourages them to remain forward and stick closer to the central striker. In this more advanced position, they can then either attack the flanks and get more crosses into the box, or cut inside more regularly and get shots off or lay up a shot for a midfielder. As well as working effectively with the fullback behind them, these wide players need to be on the same wavelength as the striker up front. Striker. As you would expect, One of the main requirements for any striker in any team is to put the ball in the back of the net as frequently as possible. Beyond having fantastic finishing abilities, great off-the-ball movement and an eye for goal, the striker also has to lead the line, battle for every ball and make darting runs in behind the opposition's defense. This helps to stretch the opponents and create more space in which the midfielders behind them can play. While some managers opt for a false nine instead of a more traditional target player or speed merchant, this striker still needs to act as a target for the midfielders and hold the ball up well and bring others into play. As the striker in 4-1-4-1 formation can get a bit isolated at times, they need to encourage the others to push forward in support of them. This means that when they do get the ball they really need to protect it, hold onto it and wait for the rest of the team to push up the pitch. In addition to this, they should have a good relationship and understanding with the two attacking midfielders who operate directly behind them. As such, they should look to the lay off the ball for these players to have a shot themselves or drag defenders out of position so that they can make runs in behind. When the ball comes into the box from out wide, the striker needs to anticipate where it's going to go and battle to get to it before the center backs. They should be able to head and volley the ball well and have good timing when striking it. In a 4-1-4-1, a striker needs to be absolutely selfless and work hard throughout the game to create opportunities and score goals. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, click on like button and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to Code Football. Click on bell button to stay connected with the next videos. Leave your comment below. See also interesting videos from Code Football.